These issues, these deep concerns over jobs and the direction of our economy, and the fiscal crisis we face as a nation, are my focus now in the United States Senate. And I'm not alone. Whether Republican, Democrat, or Independent, I believe Ohioans understand that our state and our country are in trouble. And it's going to take real change, and all of us working together across party lines to set things right. I believe the twin challenges of our time are to revive the American economic miracle and to stop the reckless overspending by government that threatens to extinguish the American dream. And one affects the other. Without a growing economy and more jobs, we cannot hope to reverse the dangerous trend of record deficits and deepening debt. And without getting our spending under control, we can't get our economy moving. It's not one or the other. In fact, these two goals are not inconsistent, they are reinforcing. With the fiscal time bomb on our doorstep and all the uncertainty it creates, we will never see the kind of strong recovery we hope for. So we have to do both. In addition to taking steps to get our fiscal house in order, we revive the American economic miracle by moving aggressively to create the climate for job growth, for innovation, invention, entrepreneurship. We need an environment that encourages risk-taking and private investment, which economists will tell you is the biggest challenge we face in this weak recovery. The current economic climate encouraged by Washington is one of uncertainty and one of apprehension. I've seen it all over Ohio. Leadership is needed to create a positive climate which spurs job growth, drives opportunity, and restores the American dream. Leadership is needed to get a handle on our serious fiscal issues. Instead, we're debating at the margins. You'll see it play out on the floor of the Senate this week. We're locked in a fierce partisan battle about less than 1% of federal outlays, actual federal spending in this fiscal year. And we aren't even addressing the biggest and fastest growing part of our budget, which is the important but unsustainable entitlement programs. In fact, as American families have tightened their belts over the past couple of years and businesses have had to do more with less, the federal government has taken the opposite path, spending more, growing bigger, and becoming more involved in our private economy and our lives. Over the past 2 years, Paul Williams at that trucking company in Worcester I talked about had to cut expenses to stay afloat. In fact, they had to sell a couple of their trucks and to let people go. Here in Washington, during that same time, the U.S. government, through going deeper into debt, borrowing more money, brought on more government employees, and grew in size. People were looking for a better way. People are looking for leadership from Washington that takes on those challenges that Ohio's businesses and workers are facing every day. The status quo isn't working. There's an urgency about this that the American people get, even while many in Washington seem to be in denial. We need to rise to that challenge and work together across party lines to meet our economic and fiscal problems head on by aggressively putting in place pro-growth measures and spending restraint. And we've got to do it now. We can't compete and win if our health care system is so inefficient that its costs are double the rest of the developed world, while outcomes are unsatisfactory, particularly for those millions of American families without coverage. This is wrong for the small businesses at the round table I talked about earlier who are trying to provide health care and yet stay afloat. And it's wrong for working families whose rising costs are eating away at their opportunity to move up the ladder.